Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal Production channel here at YouTube, and welcome to, of course, another Wednesday review. And today, of course, I am reviewing the debut full-length album from Brazilian metal band Hellgun, and the album, of course, it's titled Kings of Beyond, and it was independently released digitally on August 6th of this year, and of course it was also released through Classic Metal on CD, I believe also the same day as well of August 6th. Okay, and so again, Hellgun are a Brazilian metal band. If you're not really much familiar, well, of course you know where they're from, but of course they've been active since 2013, and of course since 2015 they have at least released one EP, at least on 2015, and of course a single here in 2017, a single there in 2018, and a single here, of course, this year. And finally, we get to, of course, their very first full-length album. So, without further ado, also, I should definitely mention, again, they are definitely of the traditional metal variety, though when listening to this album, of course, there seems to be a lot more similarities to a lot more like the speed power metal bands of like Germany, for example. Definitely, I think the band Angel Dust comes to mind. So definitely more almost kind of a thrashy, almost European melodic speed power metal kind of styling that we get with their sound here. So without further ado, let's just get into the album so I don't talk too much about, at least here at the intro. So let's get into, of course, Kings of Beyond from Hellgun. Alright. So before I really get into any of my thoughts on the album, let's definitely do a track listing rundown, which of course there's about at least 9 songs on this album, at least 8 real songs with at least 1 instrumental. Still though, it's all 9 tracks and it all clocks in at 39 minutes and 35 seconds. So these 9 songs, of course, consist with, of course, Dracula, which is an instrumental, Kings of Beyond, which is, of course, the title track, Tears of Ra, Night of the Necromancer, Revolution Blade, Cult of Ignorance, Devil Dogs, Sacrifice, and Emily's Possession. Okay. When listening, I've given this album at least a few listens, and this is definitely a very enjoyable record. Again, musically, at the beginning of the video, I definitely seem to really draw a lot of comparisons to a lot of European power metal bands, especially those that come out of Germany. I mean, I can draw comparisons to, of course, for example, again, Angel Dust, especially their very first 2 albums. I can draw comparisons to here and there, a little bit of Halloween. I can draw some comparisons to even Gravedigger, and again, plenty of those bands that was on Noise Records. And here and there, I can draw some comparisons to King Diamond here and there, but that's only from the music, at least again, it's got that Andy LaRocque, Michael Denner kind of guitar playing, at least musicianship going on here, especially on a track such as Emily's Possession. For example, in Night of the Necromancer, definitely some of the comparisons I could draw to at least the musicality stylings of King Diamond, and especially of Abigail, that comes to mind. You definitely get that, especially with a track like Emily's Possession. Even the title is almost a throwback to something you would expect on a classic record such as Abigail from King Diamond. You get plenty of that. Again, there's just great stuff in the vocals. Again, it's all great. There's a lot of great performance on the album. The production and mixing, it's a little raw, but it fits what the album is. It fits what they're going for with this album. So in many ways, it all at least works, in my opinion. I know some people seem to scoff at the idea at raw production in the modern era, but those people at least I think are absolutely spoiled. I think in this case, again, you have to at least find something that fits instead of just trying to shoehorn something in. I think in many ways this it works, and yes, low budget again, being at least a younger band. And definitely one that's been starting out since at least 2013. They're not a big high-end band. You ain't gonna expect them to have at least the mixing, the productions, at least of, you know, of the big bands. So it's stuff to expect. It's what everyone at least should have expected since the time frame of the 1980s to begin with. You don't always start out big. You start out small. And I think in many ways it's a good starting point. They start out pretty great. So without talking more about at least how the album sounds, let's definitely start picking out the songs that I like that make the album for me. Again, I am not going to do a track-by-track review. In some cases it might work, but the thing is, well, for this one, I think most of these songs have similar structuring, though here and there they do kind of switch up a lot of the structuring. Some songs definitely have a way of changing the riffs and the pacing and the speed, and some songs almost having the very more of a moodier, slower, almost softer kind of piece in there. Again, very melodic. The best thing, almost ballad-like. But again, it's that very soft kind of parts you get here and there with the then some of the songs before they just go back to being straight up crushing metal tunes. So let's definitely just get into at least the songs that I really dig off the album. That again, what make the album for me. The songs that make the album for me. Sorry to repeat myself there. Again, I don't know if anybody else will even get what I'm fucking saying, but so that's why sometimes I have to repeat myself. Again, some people should clean their fucking ears before even watching a review to begin with. Alright, so the songs that I picked out that I think that make the album for me, that make Kings of Beyond for me. First, I do the, let me definitely first, before I really get into all of that too, let's definitely also comment on the opening track, which is titled Dracula, which is a 2-minute and 5-second instrumental that at times is it's a very slow, moody track. Again, starts very soft, very ominous, and very haunting before again getting to a very slow, again, very crushing metal feel to it again, which again, very epic, very grandiose. Something again that can really just give something that's building up to something, and of course it does. That's when we finally get to, of course, the title track of the album, the very first real song of the album. That's, of course, is Kings of Beyond. It's a crushing, thrashy, melodic, power metal number in the vein of Angel Dust. So it's again, you give in already off the bat, you kind of tell what they're going for with this. Again, you got a lot of them very European power metal leanings and stylings with this track, and that's pretty much sets up the whole record in general. Again, and the musicianship and the writing and the performance. You're given that taste, and again, as the album goes on, you're given lots of that. You taste a lot of it, so you pretty much are taking every bit of it in. So it's a great track. Another track I really dig off this sound is, of course, is Night of the Necromancer. Again, I've already mentioned before earlier about how it's got that, again, mixing a little bit of that King Diamond-esque kind of structuring with this song, but it's a great track. Again, it's a cool track that has a infectious, catchy chorus. Yes, oh my god, the chorus on this track, it's at times, it's very goofy, cheesy, again, very 80s like you expect from, again, some of those kind of bands, especially also the new wave traditional heavy metal bands, but it's done in a way that I think that's actually very tasty in many ways, and it doesn't come off as completely hokey, but it works. Again, it's capturing the essence of course, of that kind of 80s speed power metal, again, catchy, hooky chorus type of stuff that you would expect from a lot of those kind of bands. And again, I think in many ways it captures that, and I think it perfectly captures that. So it's a great freaking track. So that's there is that. Of course, other tracks I really dig off this one is Revolution Blade. It's another killer melodic speed metal track with a hooky chorus as well. So it's another good song. Devil Dogs. This is a killer track as well, with plenty of riff and speed changes to suit the hooks of this track. So great song. Other one, let's definitely end up with the last two songs, which I think these two definitely also make the album for me, which again, Sacrifice. I think this is the best track that incorporates the more moody, clean, soft pieces in the melodic. Again, kind of mixing a lot of those kind of pieces, which I've talked about how this album definitely seems to really kind of go back and forth and mixing some of the most softer kind of moments and mixing it within their more metal tunes. I think Sacrifice is the best of these. Again, mixing in the softer stuff with, of course, with the more melodic speed metal salt stylings and just playing. Again, I think it is the best that does it. So Sacrifice is definitely a highlight for me. And finally, the very last highlight is, of course, Emily's Possession, which, of course, is used to end the album. And it's another cool fucking track. So there's that. There's just really nothing bad on this album. I think this is a very solid record from, from Hellgun. Again, for their debut record, I think it's good. So, but why is it good? Let me give out my rating for the album, which would at least give you the idea why I think it's solid. And that rating, of course, it's a 9.10 out of 10. So, in many ways, this is a very solid album from these guys. I'm also very curious what they'll do with the follow-up album, on how they would at least were able to follow this up. Again, it still seems like that they're still definitely are trying, or still working out every bit of the writing. You can still tell that they definitely are at least, I don't want to use a lot of other outside terms, but definitely, they definitely seem to be a little bit here and there, not as edged out in terms of the writing. Everything, there still is a little bit of that looseness. But again, for a debut album, this is good. Again, I know as time goes on, they'll loosen up a lot of those bolts and the edges and so on, and be able to really kind of perfect every bit of the writing. But for a debut album, they definitely show they got a lot of promise on this record. So it's a good album nonetheless. So this album, of course, has been out since August 6th of this year. I know since it's been out, I know it's probably also on the New Wave or Traditional Heavy Metal Full Albums YouTube channel. I know it's been on there. So it's since, I know some of you might have also listened to this album. If you did, definitely let me your thoughts. Let me hear your thoughts, of course, in the comment section below. But you haven't checked this album out, again, if you like just straight up classic European style melodic speed power metal from the 1980s, again, if you like that kind of stuff, this is an album I think you'll do yourself no wrong with checking out. I definitely recommend this album. So there you go. This is a great album. So with that, I hope all enjoyed. This is Heavy Thrash at Sam out, and I'll see you all later. Take care, everyone, and I hope all of you enjoy the rest of this October. Take care.